The laughter around the rooftop terrace had dimmed down to quiet murmurs. Most of them had left, their cheeks flushed from. You stood by the railing, glass in hand, looking out at the city that had been yours for the past 3 years, and the job that taught you what it meant to earn your place. Behind you, chairs scrapped, plates clinked, someone called out your name from the elevator. You waved, then silence. You're really leaving? A familiar voice said behind you. You turned. Jungkook, hands in his pockets, his shirt slightly untucked, eyes glossy from just enough. He looked tired and handsome in the kind of way that made your chest tighten. It's not like I'm dying, you said, half smiling. He chuckled, walking over to lean against the railing beside you. Could have fooled me with that little speech, almost made me tear up. Flashback 1 year ago. You had met him your second week at the company. He had walked into the meeting room 5 minutes late, hair damp from rain, and still somehow managed to command the table when he opened his mouth. Ideas sharp, humor sharper. What followed were months of shared projects, stolen glances, and an unspoken connection that hovered between you like smoke. Neither of you ever crossed that line. You flirted, yes. He brought you coffee when your meetings ran late. You reminded him to eat when he skipped lunch, and yet nothing. Maybe it was fear or timing or pride. Maybe it was everything. Back to the present. You were tipsy, not wasted, but the kind of floaty that made words come easier and secrets fall out. You turned to him. You could have stopped me, from taking your dream job. He smirked. Yeah, that would look great on my resume. No, you said, from leaving without saying what we both know. He blinked, his lips parted slightly. And what exactly do we both know? You didn't answer right away, neither did he. The silence stretched, the air grew tense between you. He glanced at your lips. You're not serious. You stepped closer. Try me. He laughed softly. And you're avoiding. You snapped. Quieter now. You've been doing it for a year. That hit him. His jaw flexed, eyes darkened. He stepped closer, matching your fire. You're right, he said, voice low. I should have said something months ago. I should have told you I wanted more than just team lunches and late night brainstorming sessions. But you were always 10 steps ahead. You had this armor, you swallowed. And now you're going, he added. So I guess I blew it. Your gaze dropped, you muttered. I'm taking over my dad's company. He nodded slowly. So it's true, you're becoming CEO. You looked at him. I didn't want to. I turned him down before. Wanted to prove I could do things on my own. But now he's retiring and I owe it to him. He smiled but didn't reach his eyes. I'm happy for you. Doesn't sound like it. I just didn't think the goodbye would hit this hard. The tension was unbearable now. Unspoken feelings were screaming between you. And the drinks, the late hour, they didn't help. Come on, you said suddenly. Let's get out of here. He's raised a brow. Where? Anywhere, you shrugged. Every goodbye needs a detour, right? He didn't question it, he just called a cab. The cab smelled like mint gum and stale cologne. You sat beside him, both silent. Your thighs brushed his. You didn't move, neither did he. The city lights blurred past the windows. Every red light made your pulse race. When the cab stopped outside his apartment, he paused. You sure? He asked. You nodded. The morning after, you woke to birdsong and a throbbing headache. His sheets smelled like him, citrus, musk, memory. Your heart dropped. Shit. You sat up slowly, wrapped in the sheet, trying not to panic. He stood beside you. Morning, he said, groggy but soft. You didn't answer. He sat up too. You okay? You nodded too quickly. He stood up, wordless, pulling on sweatpants. I'll get you coffee. There's clean towels in the bathroom and a shirt if you want. You nodded again. In the shower, you stood under hot water, eyes shut. You wanted to cry but didn't know why. When you emerged, he was at the table with 2 mugs and folded clothes. Still no questions, no awkward jokes, just kindness. And yet, the air was heavy with everything unsaid. When you moved to leave, he grabbed his keys. I'll drop you, he offered. No, you said quickly. It's okay. Right, he murmured, of course. You didn't look back when you left. 2 days later, he called. You didn't answer. The next day, you submitted your formal resignation. You weren't ready to confront what happened, but fate had other plans. Time skip. Your new company, a towering glass building, pristine and intimidating. Your office is sharp, minimalist, and commanding, just like you. 2 months after the farewell dinner. It's been 2 months since you took over. You wear authority like a well-fitted blazer. Your schedule is packed, your posture never slouches, and your coffee is always black. Your father's company now, your company is massive, international, ruthless, and somehow it's yours to run. Everyone addresses you with stiff respect. The board listens when you speak. You're focused, disciplined, except when you're alone and your thoughts wander back to that night. The one that you still pretend didn't happen. You have buried it deep until the elevator doors open and he walks out. He's dressed in a tailored charcoal suit, sleeves rolled just enough to reveal the ink on his forearm, a badge with his name clipped on his lapel. John Jungkook, Strategic Operations Director. You blink. He stops when he sees you, just for a second, just long enough for the universe to hiccup. Good morning, CEO, he says evenly. You open your mouth, close it, nod. Didn't expect to see you here. You manage finally, voice cool. Didn't expect to be here. He replies with a half smile, but here I am. Flashback. You remember your father's face the night he asked again. The first time right after your graduation, you said no. I want to earn it, you told him. Somewhere that doesn't come with my last name. He respected that, but when he told you he was retiring, you couldn't say no again. Not this time. And now, everything you worked for, every late night, every skipped weekend lives in this office. You invite Jungkook into your office, not because you want to, because you need to. HR didn't mention names before hiring. It was an executive recommendation, internal referring from a board member, and now he's yours to manage. I'll assume you knew I worked here, you say. I figured it out halfway through the process, he says, sitting across from you. Didn't think it would matter, you raise a brow. Why leave the last company? Moved apartments, he says casually. The commute was killing me. You wait, nothing more. That's it, you ask. He nods. This building's 12 minutes from my new place, plus better cafeteria. You stare at him. He's being deliberate, too casual. No mention of the night you woke up in his bed or the silence you left him with afterward. You feel your throat tighten, but your voice stays steady. Well, welcome, you say. Let's keep it professional. His eyes hold yours for a beat longer than necessary, always. You thought you would be ready to see him again. You were wrong. He's not the man from that night. He's polished, untouchable, and worse, he doesn't seem affected at all. Which would be easier if your heart didn't react every time he walked into that room. But you remind yourself, you made that choice. You ghosted him, you left. And now you have to work with him like none of it ever happened. As he exits your office, he glances back just briefly. Then he disappears down the hall, shoulders straight, unreadable. And you're left wondering what the hell he's doing here, or more terrifying, what you are still feeling. Time skip. It started in the break room. You weren't even supposed to be there. Your casual espresso machine was down, so you ducked into the common area low-key, blending in like you weren't the CEO. And that's when you heard it. 2 junior analysts whispering with sugar packets in hand. I saw the ring box in his drawer, I swear. Who? Jungkook? Yeah, can you imagine? The silent, hot, mysterious type finally getting hitched? Heartbreaking, right? I was low-key rooting for our CEO and him. They've got history vibes. You froze, backed on, coffee forgotten, ring, box, Jungkook engaged. You left the room before they saw your face. You told yourself not to overthink it. Maybe it's just a rumor, a joke, or someone else's ring box. People talk, they invent. But your chest was already burning. You went back to your office and slammed the door harder than necessary. You told yourself again it shouldn't matter. You were the one who left. You were the one who ignored his calls. You were the one who said nothing when he walked back into your life. So then, why does it feel like your lungs are folding in on themselves? Time skip. You buzz him in. He walks in calm, confident, in that same navy shirt that brings out the edge in his jawline. You don't waste time. Are you getting engaged? His brows lift. The calm breaks for a split second. Excuse me? You heard me. He pauses, then gives a slow, unreadable nod. Yeah, I am. No hesitation, no emotion. You blink. Wow, okay. I didn't know it was part of my performance review. He adds with a trace of a smirk. It's defensive. He knows you're rattled. He's deflecting. But you can't laugh, you can't even pretend. You just say congrats and look down at the document in your hand that you're no longer reading. He watches you for a beat. Then in the same maddeningly neutral voice he says, I'll let you get back at work, and he leaves. Time skip. That night, you go home, you shower longer than usual, you stand in your living room in a hair dripping, staring at nothing. You don't eat, you don't check your phone, you lie in bed and stare at the ceiling, all the things you didn't say now screaming louder than your pride. You remember that night, his hands, his voice, the way he touched you like he meant something, and the way he looked at you this afternoon like none of it ever happened. Time skip. The next morning, you arrive early, earlier than anyone else. The sun is still dragging itself up behind the skyline. Your inbox is full, so is your mind. You open your HR dashboard, type his name into the search bar. Your fingers hesitate over the mouse. Then they don't. Terminate employee Jungkook. Reason for termination, personal conflict, effective immediately. You click confirm. No warning, no discussion, no apology. You tell yourself it was about professionalism, distance, clean lines, but you know the truth. You fired him because he was getting married, because it wasn't to you, because you couldn't stand the idea of seeing him every day knowing what you lost, because you never had the courage to claim it. Time skip. Your family home, dinner with your parents. Your mother insists you come home for dinner. You don't argue. It's been a long week. You're tired. You've been burying what happened with Jungkook under work. But the silence that followed, his departure is louder than any office meeting. So you show up. Clean hair, minimal makeup, back in that perfectly crisp button down you've always worn to pretend everything's fine. You sit at the dining table across from your father, the man who taught you about control, risk, power. The one who passed his empire to you and called it your turn. Tonight, though he is smiling for a different reason, I've been meaning to talk to you about something, he says, searching for the salad tongs like it's nothing. You sip your wine. This isn't about merging departments again, is it? He chuckles. No, it's personal. Your gut tightens. He clears his throat, then glances at your mom. She nods encouragingly. I've been speaking with an old friend, John Hyun-soo. You might remember him. We used to work together years ago before he opened his logistics group. You nod slowly. Yeah? Well, your dad says, we got to talking at the gala last month. He mentioned his son is in his late 20s, smart, working in strategy, coincidentally also single. You lower your fork. We thought why not arrange a meeting, he finishes. You blink. I'm sorry, you're setting me up? Your mom laughs softly, not forcing, just introducing. It's someone you already know actually, from your previous workplace. And then your dad drops it. His name's John Jungkook. You sit frozen. You hear the name again in your head like static. John Jungkook. And suddenly the nausea hits. You stand up slowly, your chair scraping the floor. You're kidding. They both look surprised. No? Your mom says gently, we thought it would help that you're familiar. You shake your head. You talk to his father at the gala. Hyun-soo was thrilled when I said it was you, your dad adds. Said Jungkook admired you a lot from when you worked together. Of course he did, because Jungkook knew. He knew the whole time. He knew this was coming and didn't say a damn thing. Flashback 1 month ago at the gala. Crisp tuxedos, champagne flutes, velvet drapery. Your father and John Hyun-soo laughing near the entrance. Jungkook standing just a few steps away listening quietly. The moment your name slips into the conversation, his eyes flick upward. No surprise, no shock, just interest. He knows exactly who they are talking about. He hears the arrangement form. He hears his father say, you know, if our kids are both still single, maybe it's time to connect them formally. And Jungkook just smiles like he's already one step ahead. You excuse yourself from dinner before dessert. Your heart is racing, palms clammy, mind spinning. He's getting engaged, yes, but to you. And he let you fire him, let you believe you were just a blip in his life, let you sit in your corner office stewing in jealousy and regret like he knew exactly what was coming. Your parents have no idea about your history together, No idea about the night at his apartment, no idea about the firing. They think they're connecting two business bred souls for a strategic marriage. They don't know you already crossed that line and burned it behind you. Back in your car, engine off, fingers clenched around the steering wheel, you stare ahead, jaw tight. You are going to call him. Not because you're confused, not because you're angry, but because if anyone's going to answer for this twisted little game of silence and timing, it's him. You didn't call him, you summoned him. Formal call through your assistant. Jungkook, CEO, requests a meeting. Some rooftop lounge. He said confirmed in under a minute. And now you're here, pacing the rooftop beneath the humming warmth of overhead heaters and a sky that refuses to rain. You hear the door open behind you. You don't turn around. He walks up slowly, stands a few feet behind you. So, he says softly, you found out. You inhale sharply. You knew the whole time. Yes. And you let me fire you. I didn't stop you. You finally turn eyes sharp. You were getting engaged to me, Jungkook, and you let me think it was someone else. I wasn't engaged yet. That's your defense? He meets your gaze calm like always. You ignored me for 2 months. I joined this company and got nothing from you but boardroom nods and empty professionalism. I didn't owe you anything, you snap. No, he says quietly, but I wanted you to. Flashback. Jungkook sighed. He tried. After that night, he called twice. No reply. He got the job offer, learned it was your company, said yes instantly. He thought being near you would give him another chance, but you looked through him like he was a file folder. So when his father brought up the idea of an arranged proposal at the gala, he didn't stop it. He didn't lie, but he also didn't tell you. Back to the present. I came here hoping you would talk to me, he says, even if it was to yell. You didn't tell me you were getting engaged. I didn't know if it would go through. Your dad said he would only tell you once you agreed to consider it. You shake your head. Why didn't you tell me? He steps forward. Because I didn't want you to say yes because of an arrangement. I wanted you to say yes because of me. You stop, breath caught. And you didn't think telling me the truth was part of that? I didn't want to manipulate you. You already thought I was getting married to someone else. Your silence. And the worst part, he says, voice cracking just slightly. I would have still said yes to the engagement, even after everything, even after being fired, even knowing you would probably never look at me the same. You stare at him. He continues. Because I was never confused, not about how I felt. You whisper. I hated hearing it. Hearing what? That you were getting married. I acted like I didn't care, but it felt like getting stabbed in the ribs and smiling through it. His eyes softened. And I fired you because I was heartbroken, you admit. I didn't even know what I was doing until it was done. He walks closer, now standing in front of you. Do you regret that night? He asks quietly. You look away. I regret how I handled everything after. His voice is lower now, because I don't regret a second of it. You look up and there it is, the way he's always looked at you, not desperate, not dramatic, just real. This time you don't hesitate. You step into him, fingers brushing his jaw. He leans down slow, like he's making sure you mean it. You do. Your lips meet and everything that's been boiling for months, confusion, silence, pain, want, melts into something solid, something simple, something true. You lean your forehead against his. Does this mean you're rehired? You whisper. He smiles. Only if the nepotism clause allows it. You laugh. The first one real in weeks. You know this isn't over. The engagement isn't public yet. They're still your parents, the company, the past. But right now, you're not alone in it anymore, and that makes all the difference. Time skip. You never thought your engagement would happen like this, under twinkling lights, your parents glowing with pride, and a crowd of elite guests pretending they haven't already googled Jungkook net worth. You have smiled for 100 photos, worn a designer dress you didn't pick, sipped champagne you barely tasted, but none of that matters because he's standing next to you, and this time he is not a question mark, he is your answer. Flashback, the days after the rooftop. You met with your father, told him you would consider the arrangement. He was thrilled. You didn't tell him that Jungkook already had a key to your apartment or that the arrangement had already been signed in sweat, tears, and the one very drunken night months ago. What mattered was this: you were choosing it now, not because of business, not for legacy, for you. Back to the present. You step away from the main crowd with Jungkook, finally alone by the garden's fountain under strings of soft yellow lights. He's nursing a drink. You're barefoot now, heels dangling from your fingers. Still mad I didn't tell you? He teases. You glance at him. Still mad you made me fire you? He grins. Let the record show. You fired your own fiancé before the first date. Technically, you smirk. We hooked up before you were my employee. He raises a brow. So what you're saying is that night wasn't unethical, just poorly timed? You sip from your glass. Exactly. Pause. Then softer. You look happy, he says. You nod. I am. You didn't expect how easy it became once you both stopped hiding. He's still working with the company now as a contracted strategist, not technically your employee. HR breathed easier. So did you. You don't hide your connection anymore. You hold his hand in meetings. You let him see you when you're tired. You let yourself lean into him professionally, emotionally, completely. You let him love you and you love him right back. The party winds down, guests scatter. The jazz fades into the night air. You're standing with him at the balcony overlooking the city skyline. His jacket draped over your shoulders, his fingers brushing your ring. You know, he murmurs. We really did it backwards. You nod, leaning against him. You showed me your bed before your feelings, he adds with a smirk. You made me your boss before your girlfriend, you reply. He laughs, then turns serious, brushing a strand of hair from your face. But this, he says, this feels right. You look at him, smile. It does. He kisses you, slow, grounded, certain. No tension, no confusion, just love. Some people find each other the right way. You found him by every wrong turn and still ended up exactly where you were meant to be, together.